This tie in a 44, he stood by the door, and do you remember we were picking berries, wild strawberries, and making love in the morning dew? And do you remember we were planning decades, naming babies?
Great big spicy hello to you.
I wanna
Happy Tuesday. This is Diana Price, and you're listening to Spicy
A
Business
great
Talk
big
Radio.
spicy
and
hello.
Today, well, as you know, we're on every week at noon at Pacific Standard Time, and we have the who's who of their field in the seat. The seat, as you know, is an acronym for speakers, executives, entrepreneurs, authors, and thought leaders. So pull up a chair and don't miss 1 second of these two brilliant, financially successful, beautiful sisters. Jackie Williams Folk. I think I should have said Jackie Folk. She's going to kill me in a minute. And her sister Stasia Washington. Oh my God! Two of the most brilliant, beautiful, successful women in the financial industry. And if you read our post, we want to ask you, what have you done to minimize your financial risk? So we're going to have a kind of a fun conversation about taxes, investment, just things that all of us as entrepreneurs, executives, and just private people really need to take a big hold of in our lives. So let me start you off with just a brief bio for both of these beautiful, brilliant women. Jackie Folk has been the CEO of Williams Tax and Financial Group. Can you believe it was established in 1958 by Jackie's father? So these two ladies come from an entrepreneurial background, and what a refreshing. You're going to be really, really pleased to hear what they have to say. So she's been committed to providing clients with the highest level of financial advice, customer service, assisting clients in realizing their financial objectives. I can attest to this because I'm a client. And I got to tell you, Jackie is probably the best, not only for what she does, her knowledge and experience, but for how she just really gets into who you are and relates to what you do. Her business was started by offering tax planning and preparation services to individuals, business, and nonprofits in the Los Angeles area. She's got a great team of folks, and I'm going to let her tell you a little bit more about her, but I want to tell you about her sister. Now, you see, when you listen to this, they're kind of contrasting. One's an entrepreneur and one's in corporate America, which maybe we've all straddled that a little bit. Well, if I said that wrong, I know she's going to correct me. But Stasia Washington, I always call her Stasia. Am I saying that right? Stasia.
It's Stasia.
Stasia. Got it.
That's
Stasia,
okay.
Stasia Washington is the managing director for First Foundation Advisors. Over 25 years experiences in the financial services industry, advising high net worth individuals, their families, business owner and corporate executives, all how to financial plan, estate planning, and tax planning. And, you've probably seen her around our community because she's part of the Who's Who. National Sales Network has recognized her with a lot of awards. Who's Who in Los Angeles, people of color. Did I say that right? Los Angeles Color of Finance Award. That's what it is. And the Who's Who of Black Los Angeles, the American Cancer Society Award of Merit, and the Mexican American Business Coalition. She has so much variety in what she does. So first of all, I want to welcome both of these amazing high net worth, beautiful Black women to my show today. Yay!
Thanks for having us. Thanks for having us.
Don't they resemble? Look how cute they are. They have the same smile, but the great part about these two ladies is they're here to give you some nuggets that you can use immediately when you leave this program in your business and in your personal life. So we're going to start with Jackie. And I've got a couple questions for Jackie. Exactly what is your occupation? What do you do?
Well, we handle tax and financial financial planning for our clients as well as tax preparation.
Okay.
We advise clients for nonprofits, for businesses, and for individuals. We also try to work out ways to hold on to your finances and go to the next level. And so we work with people like my sister, who we partner together and we form alliances so we can be the quarterbacks of the team to help our clients go to the next level for taxes and financials.
Okay. And I'm just going to veer a little bit about what I said. I said I was going to start with Jackie. But because she brought her sister in it, I can't help but to say, what is your occupation? Because I want to marry this as we move forward.
Great. Well, first of all, thank you for having us. We appreciate the opportunity. I think this is a first. So both of us have been engaged in public speaking and teaching and educating the community for some time, and this is the first time we've been together doing it. So I appreciate you recognizing our skill set. So what do I do? So at First Foundation, I serve as a quarterback for our clients. I'm a relationship manager in the context of understanding the 3 wealth life cycles that they're engaged in, be it wealth accumulation, which is building your wealth, and that's the years that you're in an income earning phase. And of course, when you make it, you want to keep it. And so we help transition our clients from wealth maintenance. From wealth accumulation to wealth maintenance, and then to ultimately wealth distribution, transferring those assets to the next generation. So those 3 wealth life cycles require a roadmap, and so I help build that roadmap, working together with people like my sister as the accountant, and then I call it, it's a trifecta. There's 3 of us that are critical to any family, entrepreneur, nonprofit, and that's your attorney, your accountant, and your asset manager, investment manager, banker, whatever you want to call us. But I wear all 4 of those hats, as well as a trust fiduciary. So we all work together to protect, preserve, and transition wealth.
That is a mouthful. And people that are in the high net worth category only, or can other people, as you're saying, grow into the high net worth? Because what you're saying is high net worth category. I noticed you said that. So what about those that are like really straddling the mid-income level? I mean, Jackie knows a lot about how, you try to straddle to get to that high-income area because she does everything for me. So what about that? Is that something that we can strive for?
Well, I advise and support people at various phases of their wealth life cycle. And when I use the term wealth is health, wealth is success. And at the end of the day, we work with successful people that are transitioning through various phases of their life. And so, we've been at this for a long time. As you mentioned, my father started the business in 1958. Jackie's had it for over 30 years under her leadership. And I basically followed in the footsteps of our mother, who was a vice president and a banker for over 30 years. So we've seen it on both sides of our lives. And at the end of the day, it's about planning, having people to talk to. I respond to anybody that needs advice and direction, but there's a road and there's a ladder that you're climbing. And so those rungs on the ladder, what we try to do is reinforce people and support them through that work. And
you do such an awesome job. So, Jackie, you have an abundance of clients. Obviously, you work with your sister, so you've got high net worth, you got people that are, in the zeros that you don't understand where they end. And so what kind of clients do you work with in a nutshell?
We work with individuals. We work with corporations. We also do business management. So we work with athletes, entertainers. And then I always like to say we work with the average individual as well. We have a lot of mom and pop, the silent millionaires that you wouldn't even imagine that they're millionaires, because literally we've got clients that have been with us for generations. So we not only take care of the mom and the dad, we may take care of 3-4 generations. And our idea is a way to take those 3-4 generations and be able to lessen their tax liability, as well as teach them how to take the wealth they have to go to the next level and be able to support the next generations. I have a client who is an Asian American, and they said they look to save money for 4 generations in the future.
That's impressive.
And we don't do that in our community. So
say that again. We don't do that. I mean,
in
4
our
generations
community.
That's
we don't
amazing.
do 1 generation.
No.
So we have to learn to tax plan and learn to save so we can go to the next level. And, there's so many people that just need sometimes just basic information, and some people need a little more information because there's so many ways to save as far as your taxes and then building your wealth as well.
Exactly. So, we're having an awesome conversation with Jackie Folk, who's the principal of Williams Tax Financial Group, and Stasia Washington, who is the managing director of First Foundation Advisors. These ladies are so impressive. But we have to take a quick, and we will be right back on Diana's Spicy Business Talk Radio. Stay tuned.
Hey, are you tired of those same old energy drinks with bad taste? Make a switch to Pit Bull Energy Drink with a guaranteed no aftertaste. Pit Bull offers more energy with ginseng and vitamins B6 and B12. With a ginger ale lemon lime flavor, Pit Bull meets the consumer's demand for better tasting and healthier energy products with a guaranteed no aftertaste. Make a switch to Pit Bull Energy Drink. Pit Bull offers more energy with ginseng and vitamins B6 and B12. With a ginger ale lemon lime flavor, Pit Bull meets the consumer's demand for better tasting and healthier energy products. For more information on Pit Bull energy drinks, bars, and mixes, visit their website at hiphopbev.com. That's hiphopbev.com. Online orders available at hiphopbev.com.
Welcome back. This is Diana Price, and you're listening to Diana's Spicy Business Talk Radio. Thanks for joining us today. I hope you have your pen, your pencil, or your digital notepad out, because Jackie Folk, principal of Williams Tax, right here in the city of Los Angeles. She's been talking about some of the things that we could be doing a better job of helping generations. So, Jackie, you were just talking about an Asian client of yours that had 4 generations of wealth planning. What can we do to get on this path?
Well, the number one thing that we need to do is tax savings. And, I talk to my clients about there's ways to save money on your taxes. One of the biggest things that you can do is you can donate to charities at the end of the year. You can donate up to 30% of your income to charity, which a lot of people don't even think of.
30% is a big number.
It's a big number. But also, you can because people don't think of cash, but you can also contribute clothes. You can contribute stocks and bonds to a charity and get a tax write-off. And a lot of people don't realize that they can do that and be able to get a tax write-off. They think it's cash only, but you can distribute your portfolio. So if you have stocks or bonds, you can distribute it to a charitable organization.
I want to ask you, I'm going to just kind of do a little bit of kind of a circumventing that question, because I like that you said you can make contributions to charity. However, I don't know if you saw this article, but I just saw an article, and I'm diverging just a little bit, that talked about charities and what the CEO gets from the charity, that sort of thing, Goodwill, all of the charities that I just go to dump my stuff and get a great tax write-off. They say be careful of the charities that you contribute to, because some of them just take what you have and make money out of it. They don't put any money back into the community. Okay, that's aside. Sorry, I'm back to my note. If you have any comments on that, we'd love them. This just came out yesterday, so if you have any comments on that, I'd love it.
Literally, the IRS has a website, and it's a charitable website. You can go into irs.gov, and you can look at the charities, and you can see what percentage of the contribution actually goes to like kind, which means it actually goes to individuals or to their exempt purpose when they make the donation. So you can actually look online, and they have their actual tax return on there, and it shows exactly how much is contributed to the actual organization that they actually do services.
All right. Sorry about that little...
that's not a problem. I get those kind of questions all the time.
Isn't it called a 990? Is it?
Well, it's their 990 tax return, but also it lists the information on there, so you can actually take a look at it at IRS.
Okay.
And I've pulled 990s before on several occasions for nonprofits just to be able to understand their spend rate and how much goes to infrastructure versus to the constituency. So it's critical to research and understand that. And then keep in mind, a lot of those nonprofits most of them are all governed by a board. There is a fiduciary duty to ensure there's oversight and balance.
Okay, because it would be great to contribute to some of the out of the ordinary nonprofits that maybe a lot of us don't know about. So, I love that you can go and research that on, because I didn't know that. Did you know that? See, I didn't know that because
charitable gifting is something that we advise our clients on a regular basis. It's a key part of your estate planning strategy. So when we talk about where to give, I always ask my clients to define what's important to them. What are they passionate about? Is it affordable housing? Is it taking care of the homeless? I mean, there's great organizations like Los Angeles Mission. There's West Angeles Community Development Corporation that's providing affordable housing, but also economic development. Key thing is looking for organizations that have a track record, a history, and have it line up with your personal goals and objectives and what you're passionate about as a family.
You said a mouthful, because when I read that article yesterday, I'm going, I'm going to find some people that are really like me. They have the same goals and the same objectives, and I'm not going to just go to the big brick and mortar people to give my donations to anymore. That's it. Thank you for that, both of you. So tax planning is the main thing. Today is October 28th. We only have 2 months left in the year.
Yes.
Is there anything we can do to save on taxes at this late date?
Well, besides the tax planning, you could also purchase a home. I mean, it's short notice. A lot of people do a 30-day escrow. You're able to write off your mortgage interest and your property taxes
for
the purchase of a home.
For the 2 months.
For the 2 months.
Your points, your closing costs.
And you also get your points, and you only get your points. You don't get your full closing costs, just the points.
Okay.
But you're able to purchase a home, and you can purchase rental property, which is also a good investment. So
you can purchase a home, you can purchase rental property. I'm going to keep a list.
As well as if you own stocks or bonds and you literally have some stocks that are losing right now. I know the stock market hasn't done really well right now.
Oh, really?
You could sell your stock and you can write off up to $3,000 in losses on your tax return.
Oh, you can?
Yes. So a lot of people will sit
Only
down.
if you sell.
Only if you sell. So the difference between what you bought the stock for and sold it for, if it shows a loss of $3,000, you can write that off in that year. If it's more than $3,000, you carry it forward to forever.
Oh, okay.
So the limit is $3,000 per year.
But you won't lose your write-off. You can keep carrying it forward the next year and the next year. Hopefully you don't have to do that.
Forever. But, what I do with some of my clients for the end of the year, we do tax planning. We sit down and make a decision. Okay, what do we need to do to try to save you money right now? The other thing, if you are a W-2 employee, you can invest in your 401k, and you can max out your 401k. And so you also want to take a look at that, because between now and December 31st, we can max out the 401k and not have to pay taxes on that money.
I'm an entrepreneur now. I used to be a 401k W-2 corporate type, but transition. So what can entrepreneurs and small business owners do if, say, they don't have the typical investment instruments that our corporate folks have? Me, I have that because I straddled from corporate, but some of us start in business probably like you have, but so what can they do if they may not have anything set up?
Well, you can set up a SEP, which is a self-employed pension plan, and you can put up to 25% of your income in that and not have to pay a dime of taxes. So let's say you made $100,000 for this year. You could put 25%, which would be $25,000. So instead of paying taxes on $100,000, you would pay taxes on $75,000. So that's a SEP, and you can do a self-employed 401k plan as well, and you can put money into a self-employed 401k. And so these accounts need to be opened up before December 31st. On a 401k and a SEP, you'll have to have on a SEP, you have to have all the money in before December 31st. On a 401k, you have through extension to make the deposit into the 401k.
Okay.
Yes.
My mind is working like crazy as you're talking about this.
Okay.
I need to know, can you combine those? Can you, as you have corporate stuff. Let's say you have your corporate 401k, you have some IRAs and blah, blah, blah. Okay. Can you combine, now that I'm an entrepreneur, or those of us that, have been through this role, can you combine those two? Can you combine a SEP and the 401k? Can you do all that stuff?
No.
Oh,
So if you work for someone and you have a 401k, that 401k
That's
is
it.
separate.
Okay.
If you start a business, you can contribute to the SEP. So let's say you're a W-2 employee and you're getting paid through your W-2.
Okay.
You can have a 401k through your company.
Yes.
The SEP can be set up for your business, for your corporation, which will be separate from your 401k from work. But as an entrepreneur,
Good
you
stuff.
cannot have a 401k and a SEP through the corporation that is your entrepreneurial business. Yes.
I got it.
You either have one or the other.
or the other. But if I'm a corporate employee, I can have both.
Yeah,
Should've
so
done that
that's the only
before.
way you can do that. And then the other thing is an IRA. You can also
Okay.
set up an IRA.
Okay.
And you can have an IRA, and the IRA deduction depends on your income, how
Okay.
much you can write off, but you can have that as an employee.
But Jackie, what about for those folks that are transitioning from their corporate role to an entrepreneur status, and then they
Yes.
have their rollover IRA? I manage a number of rollover IRAs for clients that are transitioning, be it from a Boeing or Southern Caliber Edison. They've spent their 30 years, they've retired, they take that 401k or that retirement plan, and they roll it over into an IRA. Those funds, if you transition from your corporation to an institution and manage that, you're not taking that money in hand. We manage those assets for them until they're ready to start taking distributions out of that account.
Okay.
But we grow those funds. And so that's another transition opportunity from corporate into an entrepreneurial environment, but you already have established a 401k, you've built it.
Right.
And then so we guide and direct that transition and help people through that process.
That's huge, because a lot of folks just leave their 401k right where it is, and they don't really realize that. I mean, yeah, you hear about rollover opportunities, but when you can guide it and just say, okay, I'm not really sure what I'm going to do with it, because that was one of the things that I went through. So what would be the process for doing that?
Well, for us, the process starts with getting that statement, understanding how much you have there. We go through a process in building out a strategy, an asset allocation strategy, and diversifying. Typically, a lot of the funds are sitting in, they may have bought the stock of their existing corporation, so they're overweighted in, say, Boeing stock, and so they've just contributed to 401k and bought that stock, or they may have a little bit in a mutual fund. But there isn't really a strategy, and what we try to do is balance out allocation to, be it large cap, small cap, mid cap, international, giving the benefit of diversification to be able to withstand what you talked about at the top of the hour in the show is risk, and mitigating
Management
risk is what we try to do. So these funds have been made. You can't go back and make them again. We want to make sure you preserve and protect them until you're ready to start taking those distributions.
So managing the diversification, what other types of asset management is there other than the stock market, where everybody is like, well, I shouldn't say everybody, but it's kind of a jittery time in the stock market right now. People are losing money. It goes up and down and up and down. What other strategies?
We try, so when we reference the markets, I talk about them in global markets.
Okay.
It's not the stock market. It's more of a soundbite from a news media perspective. What we're talking about is that there are benchmarks. The S&P 500 is a benchmark,
Right.
a basket of stocks. Well, some of the stocks that are in the S&P 500, we don't necessarily recommend. What we look at is value. We look for companies that are steady, they've been around for a long time, large capitalized value companies that pay dividends dividends, and those dividends help to withstand the difference between when the market is going down. You're still getting a monthly dividend from owning that stock. So there's the growth opportunity and the income that you're realizing from ownership just in that large capitalized value stock category. Then there's international, there's mid-cap, there's emerging markets, there's diversification within ownership of companies, which is what you're doing as a common stock holder as well as preferreds. And then in addition to that, we look at balancing out the portfolio with an allocation to fixed income, which are bonds. And then we slice up bonds even further between corporate bonds, U.S. government bonds, municipalities, which are tax-free bonds, because this is you've got post-tax money. We want to earn some income on that. And then in addition to that, we're diversifying even further into alternatives, and we love commercial real estate, and we like investing in hedge funds as well.
Yes.
So it's all about taking that overall pie chart, and what I do is working together with people like Jackie is like understanding the equity that they have in their business, understanding the real estate they own, and even in real estate we diversify the portfolio between commercial real estate, residential real estate, industrial real estate, and then you may have, like our family, maybe have mineral oil and gas leases that go back multiple generations. Families in Texas and Louisiana have that. You know, that's in there. That's a opportunity for additional revenue. At the end of the day, you look at all of your diverse sources of income and your jobs and your business interests, and you look at it and try to offset and mitigate the risk between those asset classes. And that's what we work together with the accountant and the attorney to do a good job around.
Oh my God, that is such good information, because, you know, people probably that have been in my shoes that have been really, 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 I mean, and I have a lot of people in my audience that have been in corporate, and now they're like, okay, I'm done with that. It's time for me to do my own thing. And then you go through those phases where, you know, when you're an entrepreneur. So all of these things that you're saying, when I went through leaving corporate America, I thought, okay, stocks, what I need to do. And I went through, Jackie, sold all of these stocks for a loss. Why did you do that? I'm sick of these stocks. And she looked at me and she's going, okay, I need to know when you sold them. I need to know what you lost. And so, but you go through that because you're not real sure how to proceed. And you mentioned oil and gas. You mentioned a lot more, real estate, commercial, some things that,
we don't know what we don't know. Yeah. And at the end of the day, we always try to, and what Jackie and I advocate for is call us first. Tell us, our job is to help you scratch out of your head what you're trying to do.
Thank you for being here today, both of you. So that is...
And so, but not, it's hard. I've been the cleanup woman on multiple occasions.
Cleanup woman.
And so, and literally, when you talk about being the cleanup woman, I inherit clients that come to me, especially women that have suddenly experienced either a loss of a loved one or a divorce, and they're late in life transitioning, and they come to me and they've gone to someone, a broker or someone who's sold them an annuity, and I've had to clean that up. And because the type of work that I do as an investment professional, I sit on the same side of the table as a client, so my compensation is not tied to a transaction. I'm not a broker. I am an advisor, a wealth manager, and in that capacity, my salary is going to be there regardless if I'm recommending or not. And so my integrity is aligned with the client. And so we look at what are your goals, what are your objectives, how do we help you get from where you are today to ultimately where do you want to be, with a realistic tilt towards the efficient tax planning aspect of that. Thus, the importance of having a good accountant to help guide you through that process, so that Jackie and I don't have to keep getting our broom out and cleaning up behind what other people have told people they need to do versus what they really need as far as aligned to their goals. It has to be goal aligned.
Has to be goal aligned. This is just so awesome. You're listening to Diana's Spicy Business Talk Radio, and we have just got some spicy nuggets from Stasia Washington that I'm just sitting here taking notes. It's just so awesome to listen to it. But we'll be right back. Stay tuned for more. We'll be right back.
Dr. Ron Eccles, and I've got to tell you about a very good friend of mine, Diana Price. And I met Diana a few years ago at a couple of events. We've seen each other now on and off throughout the last couple of years, and I've got to tell you what a fantastic individual she is and what a dynamic coach. She's an incredible speaker. Her presence lights up the room as she walks in, so you have got to make time in your schedule right now to contact Diana and make sure you hire her to be your coach or to be a speaker at one of your events.
Welcome back. This is Diana Price. Thank you for watching today. I hope you're getting a lot out of it, because I am. And if you're in the business community, or if you are in business, starting a business and just trying to transition, this is a great show that you should listen to over and over again. We've been talking to Jackie Folk and Stasia Washington, beautiful, beautiful, brilliant, high network, financially independent ladies, and we're learning a lot today, and I'm sure you are too. Miss Stasia Washington, what is your biggest challenge? You have all these high network individuals who probably know exactly what they want to do, but maybe not the right thing to do. How do you handle them? What's your biggest challenge in your business?
I think the biggest challenge is helping people understand that they can trust me, and getting them past the experiences of other financial advisors. And unfortunately, you think of movies like Wolf of Wall Street, and just there's been so much emphasis on fast, immediate gratification, and a lot of people come into our business thinking, how can they make money on top of what your success has been, versus, there's that fake it till you make it type of mentality that's out there, and being able to unwind that. And then there's so many layers to our business. And so my biggest challenge is really getting people to understand that when you get to me, I'm here to help you sleep at night. Getting people to rest and knowing that we've got a plan, helping them to also not necessarily listen to CNBC and all of the, and this is nothing against them, because I listen to street signs, I look to them as well. But at the end of the day, there's a lot, there's information out there. It's information. How does that apply, though, to your plan?
Yes.
And so helping to craft that plan. If we say that we're on a 3 to 5 year
plan
strategy, no matter what the market's going to do, we've just opted for conservative strategy. That means we've got an allocation of fixed income, we've got an allocation, a smaller allocation to stocks, we've got a smaller allocation to alternatives, and each of them are doing something for us. There's an inverse relationship between them, and so as one's going up, one's going down, and at some point, somewhere together, at the end of the day, the plan is in place, and we're about that business of executing on the plan.
Do you ever get, well, I know better than you, they don't say it that way, but I know better than you, because I've been through this, or I've had an experience in the past before I got to you. I mean, I'm talking about your clients, that, they just want to have you go along with their wishes. How do you?
Well, there's two things. There's one is that a lot of people want to be self-directed. That means they want to continue to buy an individual security because they feel good about that. We want them to continue to do that. But what I want people to look at me as, I am the safe money. I'm the money that at the end of the day, you can have an allocation over here to go buy a certain number of shares of a new company you just heard about. I'm not going to cover that company because they don't have the track record that meets the screens that we have in place, but I want you to feel passionate if that's what you want to do. That's different. And so we try to balance that out. So I listen to people and what's important to them. A lot of people get a lot of gratification from buying individual securities. I look at buying a strategy which includes allocation to different asset classes to mitigate risk. And it's been proven over the last 50 years that diversification and small percentage allocations to certain asset classes reduces the amount of volatility in your portfolio. So I live that and execute on that.
So those strategies, the strategies was not just I want a stock, but I want a real strategy for my investments. They sometimes end up with making a ton of money, which means that they got to pay a lot of taxes, Jackie.
Yes.
It's a good problem to have that we all talk about.
It's a good problem to have. You make the money, you pay the taxes.
How can you not pay the taxes on that money? Is there any way we could just not pay the taxes?
No.
We'll say that together.
No. Did you see that? That was in concert. No.
No. You have to pay the taxes. It's part of life.
How can you pay less?
That's what we try to plan and help mitigate.
Right. That's part of tax planning.
Okay.
Yeah. You can make the money. You can, like we said, contribute to charity. You can do all the things that we talked about to minimize your tax liability.
Yeah, but that's really at the end of the day. I was really hoping to hear yes, but they said no, and I get that. Sometimes when I started out, I mean, you helped me talk about LLCs and how to put one LLC on top of another one and have different kind of entities and put different things in different entities, which really is helpful also in figuring out how you can minimize your risk and your taxes. So, we've got about 20 minutes left. We've got a little bit of time. So, I mean, you guys are just so amazing. What is your proudest achievement, both of you? Who wants to go first? What's your proudest achievement?
My proudest achievement is my family. I have a great husband and 2 wonderful children, and I think that's my proudest achievement. I mean, outside of, the business, because literally my dad died when I was 22. And
you took over the business at 22?
I took over the business at 22. I dropped out of college, went back the next year, got my degree, and finished up and took over the business. So I think, between my family and the business, those are my biggest achievements because, a lot of people would have gave up and said, okay, we're just going to let the business go down. Yeah. But I worked with my dad for a long time. And
so you were in the business while your dad was there?
Yeah.
In the business?
We were all
you
there.
were too?
All of us. Yeah.
We all were.
We all had to go work the business when we were teenagers.
Got it.
And then I was the only one that stuck with my dad. I was like, okay, I'm going to help you. And all through college, I was there helping, and he taught me the business.
Wow.
I mean, you learn a lot in school, but it's nothing like hands-on experience where you actually get in there and see how, to run a business. Right. And his biggest line is, you've got to be there and people depend on you because we've got to educate people about taxes because a lot of people don't have the education. We don't have where we sit down at the dinner table and talk about taxes and wealth building and finances and being able to have a will of trust and all those things. Those are important financial advice that you have to give to your clients. So my number one thing is to educate my clients because they need the knowledge. And without the knowledge, we perish. So I think that's what I'm most proud of.
Yeah. Yay, family, that's mine too. How about you?
So family first, absolutely. I have a great husband and 3 great kids and been able to traverse various stages of my professional life cycle because of my family. And, Jackie and I are very fortunate because, so our dad ran the tax business. Our mother was the banker down the street at the Security Pacific Bank, if you remember Security Bank.
Oh, my God.
And our mom was a trailblazer. So as Jackie went to work with our dad, I went to work with my mom and learned how to become a banker and started off in banking at 19 years old. And
you guys!
And it was because of our parents. If it wasn't for our parents, we wouldn't have the examples. And what we try to be is role models to our children and that the standards are high. And, my husband and his role and, and Jackie's husband is in the business with Jackie.
Yeah.
And we've been able, between the 4 of us, with Michael is general manager of a major hotel in town, and we've all been able
Michael Washington, you guys know her husband.
Yeah, so, and Derek Folk, my brother,
who's
my partner.
Too,
Derek, so iron sharpens iron.
Yeah.
And we really believe that our greatest strength is because of the partners that we have in our life, and we've been very blessed to have
Say
good
that
men.
one more time. I love that. The greatest strength
is iron sharpens iron. That we make each other better, and as a family, our goal is to see our kids transition and be able to do the same thing.
Yes.
And so my first job at Williams Tax and Financial Services, I was a copy machine before there were copy machines.
You worked for your sister as a copy.
No, for our dad.
For your dad.
Yeah. So
this.
Yeah, so at 10 years old, I was the copy machine when there were no copy machines back then. So, of course, we had carbon paper. So
carbon paper?
I was using carbon to go in between, copying the W-2s and copying the 1040s and the state returns and collating, and that's how we started. And so it gave us a work ethic. And one thing about Jackie and I, nobody can outwork us. We got a reputation for,
I can see that.
work hard
workers.
and because that's how we were trained.
Yes, you do.
And so, but we do that not necessarily just for monetary gain. We're doing that because we believe our lives are a blessing, and we have a ministry to help and develop others to be able to see that, you know, your greatest opportunity is what you do for others is what is going to resonate. And we both, you know, live in, we are believers, and so spiritually we've been guided by principles that, you know, even Bishop Blake talks about of West Angeles. My church too is that he hasn't been to a funeral or presided over a funeral yet where there's a U-Haul truck behind what you accumulated on earth. We're not taking anything with us. So we feel that our financial education, what we've been able to do is here to guide and support others.
Yeah. Such an impactful conversation. So just really a lot of nuggets here, and we're having an awesome time with two brilliant high net worth ladies. And if you'd like to call in, the phone number is 323-965-1600. But I'm kind of bogarting this conversation because it's so awesome. But we'll be right back, and please stay with us. You're listening to Diana's Spicy Business Talk Radio.
Are you a diabetic? Need some energy? Need to quench your thirst? Try Pitbull Sugar-Free Energy Drink, the only energy drink named suitable for diabetics by the American Diabetic Association. And it's now available with no calories, no carbs, no sugar, and no fat, and a smooth, natural blend of energy, vitamins, and minerals. Need to quench your thirst? Try Pitbull Sugar-Free Energy Drink, the only energy drink named suitable for diabetics by the American Diabetic Association. And it's now available with no calories, no carbs, no sugar, and no fat, and a smooth, natural blend of energy, vitamins, and minerals. Pitbull Sugar-Free Energy Drink is the healthiest, best-tasting energy drink around. For more information and online ordering with free shipping, please visit hiphopbev.com. Remember, Pitbull Sugar-Free Energy Drink, suitable for diabetics, great for everyone.
Hi, welcome back. This is Diana Price, and you are listening to Diana's Spicy Business Talk Radio. Thank you for joining us. We really appreciate you supporting us and being here every Tuesday at 12 noon on RMConair.com. Tell all your associates that we're here, and if anybody wants to be in the seat, you have to tell us what the acronym means. I know you know it. But anyway, we're having a lot of fun here. We're having a non-calorie lunch. We're having a great time with two amazing ladies, and we're going to get back into our conversation because I want to know about the IRS. I mean, they're all into our business and our lives, and they should be in collecting their taxes. But, you know, for some entrepreneurs and corporations that have large taxes, a lot of debt, a lot of stuff that the IRS is always, peering like, I want my money. What can we do? And how do you work with the IRS? What are some of the nuggets you can share about IRS and debts and how to mitigate that?
Well, there's several different plans that are available. First one that a lot of people don't know about is you can make an offer to compromise. So you can offer less money on the dollar if you qualify. Mm-hmm. And currently I'm working on a case right now, and literally the client, I'll use as example, owes about $150,000.
Okay.
So over a period of time, so we literally have made an offer of like 20% on the dollar.
Okay.
So we made an offer, let's say, of about $30,000, and the IRS countered offered and said, no, we'll accept $45,000.
Whoa.
So they accept the $45,000, and literally you sign a promissory note for the next 5 years. Your taxes must be paid on time. You cannot owe them for the next 5 years, as well as if you get any refunds, it goes towards that debt.
Got it.
But after 5 years, they eliminate the rest of your bill.
Whoa, that's so cool. After 5 years.
After 5 years.
Now, there's so many entrepreneurs that may not have that exact situation. Maybe, there's a lot of times I hear about all these things, they take cash and it's all kind of crazy stuff. But for those entrepreneurs that may have started in the first 2, 3, 4 years of their business, didn't make any money, lost money, did not do their taxes, did not report anything to IRS. Say they're 2, 3, 4 years, they haven't touched the IRS. They haven't said boo to the IRS.
You have to file your taxes.
And if you don't,
they'll come knock on your door.
Exactly. So let's say there's someone in that position. What do they do?
literally.
Can they make an offer?
They can make an offer and compromise, but first you must have all your taxes filed, and they must be filed and up to date.
Okay.
So in order to do an offer, you would have to go back and file all the 3 years.
Okay.
And for the current year, you would have to make estimated tax payments, which means you'd have to prepay in every quarter what you think your tax liability will be.
Okay.
So literally, you have to pay in 90% of what you owed from the previous year, and that's really important. So if you are in compliance, which is really important,
yes,
then you can do an offer and compromise. The one thing about the IRS, they will let you set up payment arrangements. So if you owe them less than $50,000, they will literally let you make payments as long as you can pay it off within 5 years.
Okay.
And so if it comes out of your bank account as a direct deposit withdrawal, they literally will not file a lien on your credit report or anything. So it's a streamlined program that they recently have started, and they're trying to help people.
So this is new.
This is new because it used to be $25,000. So they increased it to $50,000 to help people. And it's a great thing that's available because a lot of people owe money to the IRS.
Yes, they do.
And then after the statutory limitation of 10 years, if you owe the IRS, it falls off and you don't owe them anymore.
Okay.
So if you can't do an offer compromise and you don't qualify, after 10 years, if your returns are filed timely, that debt completely wipes out for 10 years out.
Got it.
So it's a really good thing. And the IRS will work with you. They're really good at that.
Well, I have so many entrepreneurs in my community. Well, not only entrepreneurs, but small businesses and medium businesses and people that are, just in SBA. I've done a lot of speaking to the SBA folks too. And, you have private conversations, and a lot of this stuff is really swept because people are afraid. They don't know exactly how to proceed, and they're like, okay, now I made all this money, but I put it all in here, and so I really didn't report, and then they didn't really say, hey, IRS, I owe you or I don't owe you. Say they didn't owe you. You just have to say that. So it's so important.
But it's important to file. There's one thing that I tell people. It's so important that you file and you claim all your income, because if you don't claim all your income, when you get ready to file for Social Security, the income won't be there and you won't qualify for Social Security because you haven't reported all your income. Plus, if you want to buy a house, you can't buy a house if you're not showing all your income. So there's a lot of benefits to showing all your income because, you want to be able to get your Social Security, you want to be able to get your Medicare.
Exactly.
As well as when you work for someone, you qualify for unemployment.
Yeah.
So if you don't pay in, you don't get the benefits out. So it's very important that you pay in.
That is such a great message because, there's just so many things that I hear this all the time. And I just heard that's why it's so close. Another entrepreneur said, oh, yeah, I make all this money. Most of it's cash. And do you think they reported?
You need to report
cash, a lot of cash.
Well, there's a new system that's coming along now. So it started 2 years ago. So if you have a credit card machine and you take a credit card as an entrepreneur, they report to the IRS on the form 1099-K. So back prior to 2 years ago, they didn't report that to the IRS. So the IRS knows every time that you receive a credit card as a payment, whether it goes through your credit card machine, your merchant machine, whether you use PayPal, the
Square,
IRS gets the information.
Whoa.
And they send a copy of the 1099-K to the IRS. So they're closing that gap.
Yeah.
So if literally they're trying to make people issue 1099s to their gardeners. So if if you have a gardener that works for you, they want you to give them a 1099 because they want them to report their cash. So a lot of people, they're trying to now mitigate where there's so many people who do not report their income because they're taking in cash.
Yeah.
So they're trying to close that gap.
I love it.
Yes.
Because if we have to pay it out, they shouldn't have to report it.
Correct.
Exactly.
Correct.
Exactly. Jackie, what about the importance of paying estimated taxes throughout the year as entrepreneurs?
Very important to make sure you make your estimated tax payments. Literally every quarter, what I do with a lot of my entrepreneurs is we meet once every quarter and we sit down and figure out how much money they've made during that quarter, and we make an estimate. Estimates are due April 15th, June 15th, September 15th, and the last one's due January 15th. that gives you the opportunity to prepay in the money that you owe ahead of time. And then when you file your taxes, you don't have a tax liability. So we've prepaid it in. We've covered your federal taxes and your state taxes. And then there's not a problem.
Yeah.
You don't owe a big sum of money and have a big debt to the IRS. So that's a good way to minimize
That's a very
your debt.
good way to minimize your debt. Very good way.
Yeah.
What about high net worth individuals? Do they have the same tax planning strategies as, does everybody kind of link into this group?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. And a lot of high net worth individuals would do it way ahead of time.
Got it.
They're doing a lot of planning. We're not only looking at just estimated tax payments, we're looking at ways to minimize their tax liability by literally at the end of the year they may do a bonus. And I always tell people they think a bonus is a gift. A lot of time a bonus is a way to lower the tax liability for the corporation or for a high net worth person who has a entity, an LLC or corp.
Now that's my question. To lower the tax burden for high net worth individuals, because you hear all the time that, I don't pay taxes. But of course, they have a strategy, like you said. And that strategy has a lot to do with how you're leveraging your business, what kind of things that you're doing. So what is that for a high net worth? Because I hear these huge income earners, well, I don't pay, I strategize. So what I do leaves me 0 balance negative. I'm just balance. So balance 0. So they're really not paying any taxes. So do you go through that also, Stasia, for people that you can just kind of leverage, get Jackie to leverage? So all of a sudden, it's a 0 balance where you're really not paying any taxes, but you're satisfying your obligation.
Yeah, it's not quite a 0 balance. At the end of the day, it's all about planning, and every situation's customized. And we look at a client, and the best of both worlds, I always say, is that if you have a husband and a wife, there's a W-2 earner and there's an entrepreneur, and being able to offset some of the penalties you get from being a high earner as a W-2 employee, and the AMT situation that kicks in, and Jack can speak to that. But what we do is, at the end of the day, if we're able to sit at the beginning of the year and say, here's where we are, here's the purchases we're planning. Gifting is something we advocate a lot for. We want our clients to gift, and that's another way to reduce. Remember when I talked, you may recall earlier in the conversation, about wealth accumulation, wealth maintenance, then wealth distribution. When we talk about wealth distribution, that means getting assets out of your estate to reduce your tax burden as you get closer and closer to retirement. You can even give property away. It's utilizing the estate planning tools and techniques that are out there, charitable remainder trust. I work with a client recently that had a piece of art that they had purchased for a low cost basis and was able to sell it with a big gain. But before he sold it, we worked together from a tax planning perspective and was able to put together a charitable remainder trust and gave him a strategy there. We also looked at donor advised funds. We also looked at 1031 exchange. These are all tools and techniques that mitigate the gain, and he was able to make a choice out of the options that we gave him. So again, it goes back to what we talked about earlier, is come to us, let us know what you're trying to accomplish. Then we can work together with your team to come up with the best route that will minimize your taxes.
So that brings me to, how can we come to you? What can we do to really take advantage of the expertise that you provide to this industry?
So I don't know if you have our information up on the website or if not, but my email address is swashington@f-as-in-Frank-inc.com. It's First Foundation. I'm located in the Westwood area and work with clients all over the country, typically working with successful people at various stages of their life cycle. But at the end of the day, we work with anyone that needs advice and strategy, and we try to serve as a resource. If I can't help you, I have a group of people that I can refer you to that can help you as well.
Could you repeat your contact information one more
My
time?
email address is S as in Sam, Washington, all one, no space, at f-as-in-Frank-inc.com. So that's ff-inc.com.
Got it. And you are right here in the Southern California, Los Angeles area.
But I have clients all over the country.
You do?
So,
okay. You're nationwide?
Absolutely.
International?
Not international
Nationwide.
yet,
Okay.
but asset wealth management is not a brick and mortar physical business.
It's not?
No, it's not about where your office is. It's where the relationship is.
It's on the computer.
It's the relationship.
Yeah,
We go see our
that's
clients. I have
it.
clients in New York. I mean, at the end of
Right.
the day, it's where the client is.
It's not the transaction.
Exactly.
It's the interaction.
Right.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, oh, it's absolutely, absolutely. So how can we take advantage of your brain? All that stuff that you got so we can all use it. How can we contact you?
You can contact me at Jackie, Jckie, at Williams, WILLIAMS, TAXINC.com. That's Jackie at WilliamsTaxInc.com. And literally, we have clients not only in California, we have clients literally across the country, as well as we have clients international that we work with. So we have clients in Australia, and Italy, Greece, who are Americans who have moved
Okay.
abroad, and they still have to pay taxes to the United States.
I see.
Yes.
That must be a little tricky. If they've got to do taxes for Australia and the United States.
Yeah,
Because
so-
their codes are different.
Well, they have to pay for as long as you are a citizen of the United
Okay.
States, you still have to file taxes here in the United States.
That debunks the whole myth of people saying they're leaving to not pay
Hello?
taxes. You still have to pay. So,
I'm leaving so I don't have to pay taxes. Did you hear what she said?
No.
You still have to pay.
you have to file and you have to pay.
File and you have to pay.
Hey.
Yes.
So I know we're almost at the end of our hour, but I would like one tip or two tips from both of you that says, what would you say that we could do today to really enhance our careers and our lives and really reduce and mitigate risk in your arena? How can we make it better financially for ourselves?
I would say life is a classroom and continue to learn, even though you may have finished college years ago, to go back. I mean, take classes. Part of the issue for most people is that we don't know what we don't know. So if you can embrace learning and continue to go back and study and find out and ask questions, but use life as a classroom.
I love it. Use life as a classroom. Did you hear that? That's a great nugget. Use life as a classroom. Jackie, what about you?
Well, my pastor always says it wonderfully. He says we perish for a lack of knowledge.
Yes.
And so we have to have knowledge. And, it's important that you reach out and find smart people who will help you and guide you to go to the next level. If you look at the closest 5 people around you and you're all at the same level, that's a problem.
That is a problem.
You need
Yes.
people who are at a higher level, who know more than you do, or you will constantly stay at the same level.
And the status quo is not a good place to be
No.
most of the time.
No.
What a great lunch we had. Too bad you guys weren't here to have lunch with us, but you did enjoy lunch. And no calories, but a lot of integrity, a lot of nuggets, a lot of beauty, a lot of brilliance. And I want to thank you for joining us today for Diana's Spicy Business Talk Radio with Jackie Folk from Williams Financial and Stasia Washington from the Managing Director of First Foundation Advisors. Oh my God. I got it. So thank you guys very much. It's such a pleasure to have you two brilliant sisters on, and I'm so glad that we were able to finally get it done.
Thank you.
Thank
Thanks
you for having us.
We appreciate it.
Awesome.
Thank you so
It
much.
was great. And we'll see you next week on Diana's Spicy Business Talk Radio. If you have any questions about this broadcast or you want to take a look at it again, we'll have it up on Diana's Spicy Business Talk on YouTube within 24 hours. So please feel free to look at it and share it as much as you can, because I think you'll get a lot from this broadcast. Have a wonderful week. We'll see you next week.
Up to church with his tie and a 44. He stood by the door, and do you remember we were picking berries, wild strawberries, and making love in the morning